Wow, it takes a long time to build the overlay at the moment. Guess I haven't done it in a while. Even still works. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. Oh, it's still trying. 510 to 511. There we go. And we move it to that screen, and then we should see it. All right. All right. All right. And we should have sound. And we do. Oh, Irish John gave me a shout out 8 days ago. Why did he do that? He's streaming now? Yes. Good dude. Good dude. Oh, I was trying to remember what even I was doing. Okay. Now, does it even run? This is the question that we ask ourselves always. Does it even run? Run? Does it build? Yeah, see, look at this. All my caches are empty because it's been that long since I was working on this. We need to calculate the number of days it is until our supposed launch of this ridiculous monstrosity. This ridiculous monstrosity. I think it will be under 100 by now, and therefore completely impossible. But you know, we keep trying these things. We keep trying them, and maybe we learn something. You never know. You just never know. I haven't even visited the Bevy forums in a couple of weeks. Wow, it's really struggling. Oh, thanks for the follow. I'm going to try and pronounce it. Zinar the Neko. There we go. build. It's a very, very long build. Oh, roar. Hey, great. Now you're my lurker. Roar indeed. Command not found. Damn it. Linux does not support RAR. RAR. Come on, build. You can do it. I believe. I believe in you. Have faith. You're at 458. You're being very slow because it's the first time in a couple of weeks. I have to remember what I was doing too. I was messing around with compute shaders. Them to do collision detection for me. It was not going well. On. That's okay. I very much appreciate the lurk, but you don't need to. It's all good. I'm currently staring at a blue screen. It's riveting. Riveting viewing. Wonder who else is on from the team. Okay, well it runs. That's good. Okay, we got okay. Clayman's on, Exo's on, Cricket, Creative Waste. I don't think I even follow them. Let's see. I do. Man, I need to catch up with what's going on with the stream team. Okay, so we've still got that bug where the image is not the background image is not loading, but obviously the collision image is because it's able to collide with an invisible force. Let's try rerunning that. Oh yeah, there it goes. Okay, so the collision's still working, but and the terrain destruction's working. But I guarantee you that if I change the terrain and expect it to collide, that will not work. It'll stop too soon. Yep. Okay. So the image it's using as a reference is not the current one. That's still our problem. All right. Well, that's okay. I wonder if we were going to try and do like a super simple version of it just to see if we could get the updates working. Because in the Bevy example, what's it called? Bevy example compute shader game of life. In this one, they swap between two. So maybe that's the approach that I need to use. So they do that by setting up two completely different pipelines, don't they? Yeah, pipeline cache queue compute pipeline. Texture binder group layout clone. Yeah, so init pipeline and update pipeline. So it uses two of them. And it uses cal from init, cal from update. Oh, okay. So I think I might be able to copy this approach. I just want to make sure that the images that I'm using for the terrain destruction are the same ones that get used for the compute collision stuff. I don't even know if what I'm trying to do is possible. But what it does is they start cache pipeline state. Okay. Pipeline cache get compute pipeline state. They swap between the two of them. They either use game of life state init or game of life state update. And then we match self state init. And then we go get compute pipeline. And is that a thing they've defined, or does that just exist already? Oh no, they've defined it. And then self pipelines stores the different pipelines. The cache store existing render and compute pipelines allocated on the GPU, as well as pending creation. Pipelines inserted into the cache are defined by a unique ID, which can be used to retrieve the actual GPU object once it's ready. The creation of the GPU pipeline object is deferred to the render step just before the render graph starts being processed, as this requires access to the GPU. The cache does not perform automatic deduplication of identical pipelines. It is up to the user not to insert the same pipeline twice to avoid wasting GPU. Okay, so this could work, I think. I just need to know that the image that gets used by it is the same as the image that's being used by the destruction stuff, because these images are updating once every frame. Still got that bug. These are this stuff, but updating once every frame. So how do I get... So let's look at what we're currently doing, because I guarantee you what we're currently doing is wrong. I think where is it living? In collision? The collisions buffer contains bit-packed information sent back from the GPU, but for now just a 1 if a collision has occurred, 0 otherwise. Okay. I'm glad I left a comment for myself. I have no memory of this place. I have no memory of this place. Command spawn readback. Observe. Okay. Yep, so that's just looking at the buffer. Insert resource collisions buffer. An empty buffer. Render target image. These will get replaced once level loading begins in screen intro. Okay. So this was the blank image that just, it's a placeholder. Render targets display each level terrain. Okay, and level render targets is, right, two image handles basically. The image we'll use to display the rendered output. Everything on the main screen and the minimap is rendered to this image, which is swapped via ping pong buffering each frame. And that's working. We know that that works because we can see it on the screen. And we know that the first of the compute shader images works because otherwise the character would never stop in its fall. It would just keep going. So the first one works, but none of the updates do. which makes me think that the um it's not using the initial. It's not what am I trying to say? It's using the initial. It's not using the images that are being used by the terrain destruction. It's using a clone of them. So let's look at where we load that. We maintain a separate copy of the terrain image in compute shader friendly texture format, i.e. texture format RGB8 UNORM. At the end of each frame, we clone this from the existing texture format destination image, switch its texture format, and use it as the source of truth for collision detection. That sounds really slow. What would happen if the other images were also RGB8 UNORM? I wonder. Let collisions buffer is shader storage buffers get collisions buff. Terrain images get collisions terrain. And collisions terrain is res collisions terrain. Okay. It's just a handle. So that first one is working. Now I've lost where I was. So that's our terrain image. And I guess we never replace it. Or it never gets updated. So this pipeline is the only one that we ever use. So the code that's supposed to swap that is in here. World resource collisions terrain. Yeah, that never gets updated. What's supposed to happen is we get it, and then we get, oh no, we get it there. Update our compute shader bind group to reflect the current state of yacht positioning and the current terrain. I think the only way it could work is if we use the same copy of GPU image copy of the level. Maybe I should work on doing that and then have that kind of swapping between the two pipelines the way that that the compute shader game of life does. Hmm. Okay. So how can I test that? Let's look at the way that we initialize the level. And maybe we can give it a different format. So during init, we go let level images get level target source. Level targets is res mute level targets, level render targets. I see, this is init compute shader. Hmm. So images get level targets destination. Collisions terrain images level image clone. Right. Asset usage is render world. Forcing this from the sRGB variant will lead to incorrect gamma values. Since we're mostly interested in the alpha, this shouldn't be a problem. We could do away with this if compute shaders ever support storage textures that are RGBA8 UNorm sRGB. So it's that sRGB part that's the problem. Okay. So where do we actually load the image? New level, mesh 2D, meshes add, mesh material 2D, level material. Terrain texture is level target source clone. Okay. And this is the one that we're swapping the textures back and forth. But where do I actually load the image? Images get level target source. So that means the image must already exist, which means that I've used, but where do I populate that? Level render targets. Maybe here. Intro. Yeah. Images loaded via Bevy Asset Loader have the default usage settings. These need to be modified in order to use the image as a render target. Here we create two copies of the level image, one to use as source, the other destination. Okay. So we're loading. And if I set the type here, it's going to complain at me, I think. But let's try. Source image. What is it again? Texture, not texture descriptor, but texture format. Texture descriptor format. Okay. It's going to complain at me all kinds of ways, I think. Equals texture format GBA8 UNorm. Yeah, if I do this, I think things will just flat out break. But let's give it a quick go just to make sure that they break, because we like to test these things. Where am I again? What is my name? What is my purpose in life? Cargo run. Or as Fanny would say, no, cargo road. Oh yeah, good old crash. Good old crash. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Incompatible color attachments are indices 0. The render pass uses textures for format unorm. The render pipeline uses, right. So I have to change the pipeline to RGBA8 unorm sRGB. No. The fragment shader. Where is that? With blip pipeline label uses attachments with formats. I think you can change it, can't you? Maybe you can't. Let's find out. So that's going to be in init. I think maybe in level. It's wherever we define the custom material. I do believe. I do believe. Why is Discord beeping at me? Why? Why? I do not know. I do not know. Never mind. Doesn't matter. Not important. So let's look at level material, our custom material. Because we don't really use a custom pipeline. We just kind of use the custom material helper thing. Material 2D for level material. Alpha mode is blend. Fragment shader is shader ref. And our fragment shader is terrain WGSL. This is all just the terrain destruction stuff. Okay. That's game of life stuff. So for level material, we just do the implementation of material 2D. So there's nowhere do we actually set the texture format for this pipeline because we let Bevy take care of it basically. I wonder if I can change it. What are the things that we can implement with Material 2D? DRS Bevy. Material 2D. Sprite? Question mark? I think it's still in Sprite. Materials must implement as bind group. What can we customize? Fragment shader is shader ref. Yeah, we've done that. Alpha mode, depth bias, fragment shader, vertex shader. Specialize. Oh, descriptor. Okay. Maybe. 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 Let's try. So the thing we need to return is, I see. So we get a mutable reference to the descriptor. So we could go descriptor. What else? This is the render pipeline descriptor. What's that got on it? Label layout, push. Can I change the format? I wonder if Claude is new enough to have this in their library. Render pipeline descriptor, yeah. So label, layout, constant ranges, vertex, primitive, depth, stencil, multi-sample, fragment, and holy crap. What about texture descriptor? Wait a minute, what was the error? The render pipeline label uses attachments with formats. Okay. So label, debug label of the pipelines will show up in graphics debuggers for easy identification. Um, huh, just randomly, let's see if it does have enough searches to be able to help here. Can see all my AWS troubleshooting. Um, okay, so the question we have is in Bevy, can the specialize function of material 2D tray be used to alter the render pipeline from using texture format RGBA 8 UNORM sRGB to RGBA 8 UNORM. I do not have high hopes. Okay, descriptor, if let some fragment, descriptor fragment. Okay, fragment targets get mute, target format. I see. Interesting. It could be right. It could be right. I just was wanting to know where the format lives, and it could be right. Let's see if Rust Analyzer can tell if it's right or not. No, it's not. So that is a color target state. Let's look at color target state. Format. Oh, it's an option. I see. Um, so basically, you're talking about if let's format equals target format. That needs to be mutable. But there is. Oh, oh, I see. Equals target. Wait. I'm getting all turned around. Target is fragment targets get mute. Target is now an option color target state. Hmm. I think this would be better expressed using TinyBale. So let's do let fragment equals let mute fragment equals our descriptor fragment. Result is not satisfied. Specialized mesh pipeline default is not satisfied. Oh, we need a default. Oh, right. I need to exit, and I may not be able to. Can I? No. Damn. I thought I was being clever. I thought I was being all smart and everything. I was not. Let's see if we can do it here. Um, let target equals fragment. Fragment targets get mute 0. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I see. No, I don't. What? I'm all turned around. Oh, yeah. Why is that a mismatch? It's matched. Whoa, we're down the rabbit hole now. It is matched. I need a slip of tea to make sense of this. My tea's kind of cold, but never mind. All right. What am I doing wrong here? Let some fragment equals mute descriptor fragment. Oh. Oh, I see. Duh. Okay, now it's concerned because result is not satisfied. Default is not implemented. Okay. So you have to return something. All right, you know what? Let's bail out of that, so to speak. We know that there's no field format on the option, so we have to have. What's the concept of the game? So I'm working on a Lemmings like. I don't know if you remember Lemmings, but it's this game. Oh, that's my video. That's not going to be helpful at all. Let's find my example. You're going to see all my YouTube in all its glory. Apparently, I was researching chicken thighs. Amiga long play. Hopefully, this isn't too loud. Played a lot of Lemmings. There you go. So I'm not trying to clone it, but I do like the mechanic. So I chose it as something to experiment with. But Lemmings requires terrain destruction, so you have to be able to do that. You have to be able to remove pixels and have them collide with pixels so that they follow it perfectly. And I watched a video of Mike Daly, the original programmer of Lemmings, do this in Game Maker in like a couple days, which was incredible. And so I'm trying to do the same thing, but I'm doing it in Bevy, which is a game engine that is still kind of under heavy development. And there are some things that people just don't quite really know how to do yet, or at least I don't, because I'm still pretty green. So yeah, I'm struggling my way through trying to get collision detection with the terrain working. I can destroy the terrain, but I can't then tell a collision detector to update the image that it's working with. So that's what I'm trying to get right now. Target format is an option. So I don't understand why it would complain about the target is an option. That's the problem. So essentially, what if target is there's a lot of options on this thing. Right, so it's an unwrap. We'll just get this working and then we'll do it properly. Um, hang on. This makes no sense. Man, you can tell how out of practice I am. Yeah, so it would be if let me some, but still we've got this problem. It's still an option? Oh, right, because we need to use T. Expected color target state found mutable reference. Seriously, Rust Analyzer, you're breaking my brain. The outer pattern can be modified to include the inner pattern. All right, so what is it again? RX? No. Um, forgotten what my bindings are. Man, it's been that long. Um, mappings. LSP, code action, CA. That's right. Sure, why not? No, now you're complaining again. Consider using a flat. So basically, you got two different pieces of advice with opposite effects. Yep. But it does actually compile, apparently. Okay. The outer pattern can be modified to include the inner pattern. Okay. I'm not going to go there right now, but that's a lot of nesting options. Kind of annoying. Kind of annoying. So I'm assuming if I try to do this, everything will still break. So let's find that out. Let's find it out. Well, it didn't break so much. Now it did. Panicked at blah, 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 instance trying to destroy a surface semaphores that is still in use by a surface texture. Cool. So maybe this is just something illegal that I'm not supposed to be doing. Hmm. Mesa VK display queue destroyed while proxy is still attached. Yeah, I think this is no bueno. So my core problem remains. Problem. We write it in the comments so that we understand it, maybe. Um, This uses a shader with texture format RGBA8 UNORM sRGB. The compute shader requires texture format RGBA8 UNORM. Seemingly copying between the two is not working after the first, after the compute pipeline initialization. Forcing the fragment shader to use RGBA at UNORM seems not to work. What could we try? Maybe the two pipeline approach from Compute Shader Game of Life. Bailout to CPU-based collision detection. This would require us to copy back the texture to the CPU each time. Not amazing. Each frame is what we're saying there. Let's see. What else could we try? We could drastically simplify this, create a drastically simpler version of this compute fragment approach and try to troubleshoot. I think I'm leaning in that direction. Sorry, I'm getting pinged on Discord again. All right. Oh, what do I do? What do I do? The Rockman. He's a character from another game. I don't even know if that game's running at the moment. But I was gonna the overlay that's running at the moment is written in Rust, and it's basically just game engine stuff. So he's just a little game engine sprite. He's supposed to do more, but haven't gotten there yet. Does he even run right now? Where would he be? Where would he be? He would be in got about 4 different repos with him in it. Where's my A sprite? Wow. Where is my A sprite? Wait a minute. All right. Where's Stone? Where's Stone? Haven't even opened him for a while. Where is he? He must be in the archive. That's weird. Wow, I didn't realize I haven't even maintained a copy of it. Okay, I can't show you that right now. Good to know though. That's the that's the game I really want to work on. This is kind of just a Champions of Breakfast style. Get something out for practice. Um, I think that is probably the solution, but that's going to require a little bit of setup. I'm not sure if I'm up for it today. I wonder if anybody has done an example of a fragment shader with a different texture format. Let's go to the Bevy repo. And whoa, flashbang. What the hell? Oh, I'm not signed in. That would be why. Let's fix that. Dark mode, please. Dark mode. Thank you. That's much better. Okay, let's look at issues and RGBA 8 UNORM. Render target image doesn't support RGBA 8 UNORM. Oh, yeah. So it looks like if you cannot get example doesn't work. Changed image format and run the render to texture example. Feed output image into a compute shader. Exactly the same problem as mine. And no one's been able to. Okay. So, yeah, this is exactly my problem. So I guess Bevy just doesn't support it right now. 6380 fixes. You can set R32 float or wait, what? Bevy only supports rendering to the current surface texture format. You can now use any texture format you want when rendering to an image texture. Changing the render to texture example to use R16 float doesn't crash. So they were saying you can set R32 float or RG32 float and it works. So maybe I should try using those. Let's look up what they actually are. Red channel only. Oh. I don't want that though. What could I use that would work? Because we know I can't use RGBA8 UNorm. Let's look at what they actually changed in the PR. I think I'm tempted to actually ask this in the Discord. Retrieves the texture format of the render target. I wonder if maybe changing the render target image would help change the pipeline. No, because I already changed the thing that I was loading into. Let's make sure that I haven't accidentally shot myself in the foot here. RGBA8 UNorm sRGB. No. sRGB. See, the trouble is when I load it using Bevy Asset Loader, it probably does use sRGB. What if I change it in images? Would that help? Or have I already? Okay. Level image, we get it there. Oh, hang on. I need init. No, what is it? What is the thing that we run before level? Intro. Prepare level images. So let's change the level image itself. That should be mutable, right? Text descriptor format equals texture format RGBA8 uniform. Okay, so we've changed the original and then we clone it. And then we change the descriptor usage. I wonder if copy source is also required. Copy destination allows the texture to be the destination in a command encoder copy buffer to texture. I mean, what would be the harm? Update the original image with new usage sessions. Oh, I see. So we already update the original one and add the second copy of it to image assets. Where do we add the second copy of it? So we're already changing the original. Store both image handles on our resource to facilitate swapping them each frame. Right, we don't add the destination till we're down there. So actually, there's no real reason we couldn't do this, right? So we shouldn't need to insert any more, I don't think. Oh, they're going to do ads in a sec. It's at least simpler because when we do get mute, we've got a mutable copy of that image. So saving, we shouldn't have to insert, I don't think. Yeah, I think this is still going to crash, but let's just find out. We always like to find out about the crashes. Okay, and crash? Yeah. Okay. Oh, wait, did I? Yeah, render pipeline targets are incompatible with render pass. Color attachments are indices, blah, blah, blah. Um, yeah. Just out of curiosity, if I change it to something else, like the R32 or whatever it was, what was it? R32 float, I think. Let's try that. Just for shits and giggles. See if it tolerates it or not. It does actually. That's really interesting. And it kind of works, but it's black because we're missing some shit. Oh, God. Okay, so we can use that. We can't use GBA8 UNORM. Is the problem? What other formats could we try? I am moved to wonder. What about this one? S norm. It's it's all just point and shoot at this point. RGBA8 S norm. I just want to see what fails and what doesn't. Well, it runs and it collides. Will it ever show an image? Probably not. Okay. All right. So S norm doesn't crash, but it doesn't work, obviously. Um, what else? What other things could we try? AG32 UN. I'm just AG32 float. I'm just spitballing at this point. And we crash. Yep. Uh, get single as no entities. Good to know. I don't suppose there's an RGBA 32 float. I don't suppose. I don't suppose. No. Well, there is one, but certainly it doesn't work. Range end index out of range for slice of length. Okay. So too big. Is there an 8? No. No, there is not. There's a 16. I wonder why the non-SIGB variant in particular is bad. Like, we can prove that this does not work. We know this. We know it. We know it. Yeah. And then if you add SIGB, all of a sudden, it does work, but it doesn't do what we want. And it might even display an image at some point. Yep. Okay. Any other variants that we could try that might work? Etc. too. What the hell? Texture compression size, etc. too must be enabled to use this texture format. Can't help trying. We'll wait for the crash. There's the crash. Features not enabled on device. Okay. All right. I feel like I'm trying something that can't currently be done easily, but how could I we can't do that. We can't change the texture format. There. We have to pass it as sRGB as far as I can tell. There are no 8-bit formats that I can use instead, from what I can tell. We've got, is there any RGBA8 anything? Just unorm and uint. And unorm sRGB. I mean, just to be thorough. May as well check for a crash. Yep. Index out of bounds, yeah. The length is 0, but the index is 3. Task pulled after completion. Color state is invalid. UINT 32 times 4 is incompatible with the shader float 32 times. Oh, that's interesting. Create render pipeline. Color state is invalid. I wonder if that's because of my WGSL. Hmm. Regardless, I still think this is not going to work well. So that leaves us with trying to find an approach for the compute shader that actually uses the current image and not the original copy. So we know that this kind of works, kind of. And we know that the first image is able to be loaded as a clone into the compute shader. So let's start from that point. Let's start from the only point we know. So we look at collision and where we create the pipeline. And it looks as if we never deviate from that pipeline image. So in prepare bind group, I wonder if we can get Claude to summarize some of its searches around prepare bind group. Actually, we'll give it the pipeline as well. Actually, we'll give it the entire file. I don't have high hopes, but I want to see if it triggers anything in my brain. Given the following file, consider ways to change the associated, what's it called again? Thanks for the follow, board programmer. I have met many board programmers in my life. What is it called again? I have lost the name of the thing. The name of the thing escapes me. Terrain image. What is terrain image in this instance? Where's my bind group? Texture storage 2D. Texture storage 2D. On every frame to reflect the current game state. So I just want it to see if it's synthesized any Uh, yeah, the collisions node update method, we already change it, but it doesn't take effect. A good place to ensure your texture is up to date with the current game state. Already being done. So it doesn't know, is what it's saying. Add a system to update the collisions terrain resource. Yeah, but then you'd have to have a copy of it on the CPU. It seems to me. Create a dynamic texture converter. Copies the current render target to a compute shader friendly format. You can modify the material 2D implementation. No, you can't do that. Recommended implementation. Render graph node, it's overriding run. Copy from the source. Copy texture to... Oh, see, this is stuff that I don't know. Copy texture to texture. That actually could be a thing. Let's find that out. This is why I find LLMs can be useful, not because they always have the answer, but because they have such a deep search. Copy data from one texture to another. Textures are not the same type. They have such a deep search pattern that sometimes they come up with functions that you just didn't know existed. Now, what is command encoder? Encodes a series of GPU operations. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. So what is it suggesting? Ensure compute-friendly text terrain. Post-update, ensure completely friendly terrain after update level render targets. I am 99% certain this won't work. Because it's adding CPU side. But I am curious. Hmm. Hmm. Oh, well, I don't think I'm going to get far with this today. So I made a start. I'm going to ask some more people on Discord and maybe get some better advice. But thanks for looking. Apparently, I'm back, even if just for an hour and 20 minutes. You got to start somewhere. Take it easy. We'll see you later.